Welcome back, boys and girls. So today is a couple of days after the races, and we have some things to go over. One of which is the failure of the transmission. So that was a pretty straightforward deal. The band burned up, but there was two other things wrong with the transmission that probably ultimately would have led to a bigger failure, perhaps even catastrophe. So I'm going to show you what one of these things is. The direct drum has a cover on it, kind of like this, that, well, it covers the clutches. It's the last steel in the stack, if you would. And this thing has some slack in it in this direction, which is kind of uncharacteristic. And this thing was kind of, from what I remember when we built this thing last year, when I burned up the band, it had a little bit of slack in it. Well, now it's got more slack in it. So we are going to fix that by way of welding up the tabs and dressing them back down so it fits the drum properly. And then the last problem, that was two of them, the band and the cover having the slack in it. And the third problem was that it had some in play in the tail shaft. The bushings and whatnot look fine in it, which is that's a good sign. The bushings and the Torrington bearings and all those things. So we have to investigate where that came from or where that problem is. And when I say the bushings were fine, I should probably rephrase that a little bit. The one that's in the bottom of the planetary, the bronze bushing, did have a little bit of wear on it. It wasn't too bad, but I don't think it was the whole cause of the in play. So we're going to go over that. I don't know if I'll be able to film some of that or not because it's at the transmission shop, my buddy's place, and there are other people's cars and projects there, and I really don't like to film other people's stuff. Even if it's innocently in the background, some people don't like that, but whatever. Hey, let's get started on fixing this clutch cover though, and see how that turns out. I think you can probably see, but right there, that notch should go over here and drop down. So we're going to weld that up and make it square again so it fits in here properly and doesn't do this anymore. Okay, this is actually working out better than I expected. I welded up the little ears on this thing, and check this out. So I think you can see there, really small dots, and we just have to dress them down with a file. Hopefully they're not too hard to do that, and get it to fit the cover a little better, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, all dressed up, ready to go. Fits down in there just good, and it doesn't rock back and forth. It used to clank quite a bit. It had some pretty good wear and tear on it for unknown reasons. So now I guess it's time to go back to Mike's place and get this thing put back together and get it ready to go in the car. We have two more races coming up by the end of the year, and I think that's going to be it for us. I think we're going to do some upgrades to Bob, get him on a diet. He needs to lose some weight. I'm hoping for the neighborhood of a couple 100 pounds, and I think that's going to help a lot. On to the next matter of business. Okay guys, so the transmission is fixed. It is ready to go in the car. I think you can see it over my shoulder here. It is patiently waiting its turn on the stretcher to go in the car. So also, I wanted to share with you, I had some bonus footage from the races a couple days ago that I did not put in the last video that are both in-car videos. There's only two. They're short clips, but I want to explain real quick what happens in the first clip. The first clip is when the transmission fails. So what you're going to see is the burnout is fine. It comes out of first gear, shifts into second gear, no problem. I pull up to the line and I hit the trans brake. I deck the gas. I hit the bump button and nothing is happening. So that's when you see me let off the gas. I roll into the second beam. thinking that there's something wrong with the bump. I hit the trans brake again, deck the gas, light comes down, let go of the button, car goes to the moon. Watch the tach close. I think it sees 82 or 8,300 RPMs, quicker than I can let off. So I think that it spins the tires. I back up and I'm telling Chris, which you can't see my hands, but I tell him, move me over. And he comes up and he says, it didn't spin the tires. It's something in the transmission broke. So that's the end of that clip. Now let's go to the next one. Okay, the second clip is obviously much later in the day. I want to say it's 12:45 at this point, a.m. I had the transmission ready to come out midday, and we had to wait for Brad to get there with the transmission and all that stuff. So finally got it in. It's in the car, ready to go down the track. Now, what I want you to take note of in the second pass is the boost control problem. So the car leaves the line, and again, I had kind of just taken a guess at the boost controller because I didn't know where we were going to be at. Chris's transmission acts different in my car due to line pressure and converter charge pressure. So again, I just took a stab at it. Listen to the car go down the track. You'll hear it. It sounds like a police car, wee wee, up and down with the boost, and you can hear the hissing noise from the wastegates. The sounds like an air hose. Psh, psh, psh. That's the wastegate opening and closing, and the boost going up and down. And to this point, I don't know what it is. Not sure why it's doing what it's doing, but it is doing it, and nonetheless, we got to figure that out. And it's definitely not an electronic problem. It did the same thing with the Mega Squirt stuff as it does with the Holley stuff. So it's a mechanical issue. And I have checked everything. The wastegates, the pressure test good, the blow-off valve test good, all the hoses are sealed, so I'm not sure. We'll get to that later. So anyways, there's that pass coming up. And man, for a second, can we talk about how cool the Holley dash is? Lower left corner, you can see the mile per hour. Chris reaches in the car and hits the virtual button that controls the boost controller, which turns it on or enables it. super, super cool stuff. I'm very, very happy with my choice in products this time around. Yes, the dash is going to get relocated. I have to do some fabricating and some configurating to get the dash in the dash where the dash belongs. So we'll get to that point. Maybe part of the winter upgrades. It's just not in the cards right now. Okay guys, thanks everybody for stopping by. That's the end of the video. It was getting kind of long and I try to keep it between 10 and 15 minutes. We got some other stuff to cover from the last race that I'll put into another video. So yeah, that's it. I'm super pleased with how the weekend turned out despite the transmission problems. I couldn't ask for more. Had a lot of great help. A lot of friends stepped in and stepped up to the plate and helped me get to where this weekend ended up at. So thanks to them, big thanks to them, especially Chris for using his transmission. That is not a cheap piece to be loaning out. And you know, the obvious part is if he needed my stuff, he's welcome to it as well. So next video, I'm not sure exactly what's coming up there. We may go over the tune and the things that happened in the tune from that race, because there were some questions about that, but we'll see. Got to get to work on Bob and get him ready for the next race, which is we have a test session coming up Saturday, and the following weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, is another race, so we'll have to check that out. Anyways, thanks everybody for stopping by. I appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Be sure to check out the links below for all the stuff we use on the channel. There's always questions about that. And don't forget the Instagram. Go over there and check that out as well. I always put pictures up there during the week. Thanks guys. We'll see you in the next video.